Is that thing on, Mike?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I believe so.
Enrique's stretching. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 12. Yes?
Yes.
Season 3. Today we're going to start off with Toplock, Armbar, troubleshooting. Okay? So I've been asked, this is a topic fairly heavily covered on my Armbar DVD on BJJ Fanatics, but somebody said that they have a hard time locking up the top lock. Usually, when you can't, I usually try to explain the critical elements, what are necessary to get that technique done. Chances are that it might be one of those things that you might be missing, but let's go over that anyways. So usually if people have trouble locking up the top lock for the armbar, is they're not going perpendicular enough, okay? They don't break the guy's posture. So one of the first things, if I'm gonna go for that, what I want is make sure that I can get a grip on my opponent's head and I start to pivot. I don't really care about holding the arms right now. Now, so I can lock this out very easily. However, one of the other problems that people do is their right leg is not up under the opponent's armpit. It's usually halfway there. Then now I can't lock it up. That's very easily beaten. Okay? So I need to make sure I pivot out. All right? And now I can lock it very easily. One of the possibilities that may cause people's problem is when your opponent tries to block the hip. So I can't bring my leg in. If that's the case, I start to lead with the knee. So you can see how my butt pivots out. Once I'm here, I lock it up. I don't care if I lock it up on this side of the back versus the other side. This is actually better. And then you have a very strong finish. All right? So, as my back is a little jacked, I'm going to try to do the same thing on the other side. So, to even myself out. So again, first thing, guys, I want to make sure I'm able to break my opponent's posture. So you have to have a mechanism to break the posture. Usually you reach for the head and you start to pivot. Notice that my left leg in this case goes under the armpit as far as it possibly goes. I can lock it up. If for some reason your training partner is blocking your hip so you can't quite lock it up, start to lead with the knee. So the knee pushes in and now I can lock it up in a very even stronger manner. All right, I hope that fixes it. I suspect that your problem is not pivoting enough or you're not bringing your leg under his armpit, that it stays down. That's the general problem with arm barring in general. Most people cannot get a proper angle for the arm bar is by letting that leg drift somewhere in between the hip and the armpit rather than going all the way under the armpit. All right, so let's see if there's any questions that we can start off with. And
right now we have some check-ins from Vancouver, sunny Alberta, Iowa, Melbourne, Australia, and we have a question from the Laughing Pro. He said, "Hey Fox." Said, "Hey Fox, big fan. Do you have any entries to the Omoplata on a stalling opponent that doesn't give overhooks?"
Doesn't give overhooks. Usually Omoplata entries for me are a function of attacking the arm. So if he doesn't give overhooks, so this is a lot easier without the gi. With the gi, sometimes the guy can grip, and in which case you need to strip the grips. But without the gi, it's a little bit easier. So for Omoplata entries, you need to get his hands off your torso. So even if he keeps good posture and just stalls, you could always try to bring him in a little bit with your legs. All right. So the other possibility is lift your hips up and just strip the hands off to the side. As soon as they're off to the side, I'm going to attack the arm. Okay. So let's look at that again. Why don't you turn a little bit so they can see how my legs move in the back. So this is very important. So again, I can always try to bring him a little bit forward with my legs. Without the gi, I lift my hips, and as I'm dropping them, I slide his hands off my torso. Now I can attack the arm. You'll have a variety of attacks, Omoplata being one of them. So as soon as they're off the torso, I'm going to frame. So you could see which arm I'm going to attack, right? So I'm framing against his left arm, and I'm ready to pull the right. If I was this way, I'd be attacking his left arm, and I'm framing against his right arm. So these are the frames. Okay? Now, as soon as his hands are off my torso, I'm going to frame, and I'm going to shift out. So basically what I'm doing is I'm attacking split guard immediately. This is when the guy is going to give you, because the closer to squared up they are, the more painful it is. The further away they are, okay, this alleviates the pain, but it also opens them to Omoplata. Okay, so let's look at it one more time. So Enrique's stalling, I lift my hips, and I slip. So again, it's hard to slip. Keep it good, come on. I saw you stretching. But if I lift my hips, now I can attack his right arm. Again, as soon as they're off the torso, one of my feet goes on the hip, the second one goes in, and now probably the best way for him to defend this is to put himself into an omoplata. When that happens, I'm going to try to hold on to the far side arm. So that way, this limits his mobility. Now, Enrique is kind of starting to give me a little bit different look. So I'm going to go into an inverted armbar. But you can see the idea that, again, I don't necessarily attack omoplata, I attack the arm. So when you threaten the arm, you have arm bars. You know, it could be straight, it could be short, could be inverted. And you have triangles. So a lot of times, once you attack the arm, your opponent senses the danger, and the best solution for them is to turn and to give you omoplata entries. All right? Does that answer your question?
Yes, answer the question. And Adolfo Fronda is asking regarding the original armbar. Fox, how do you secure Enrique's far top arm? It looks like if he gets his elbow past your thigh, he can use it as a wedge to give you problems and easier to pull out.
You want to turn so they... So, yes. So this is, you know, he's blocking. This is when the knee becomes important. So, yeah, I can't connect. But if I start to drive with the knee, tap, tap. If I start to push with the knee, it starts to collapse. It's sort of something similar to where, you know, with the gi, the guy has a good grip on your gi, and you just kind of scrape it off. So this is a very similar entry to that. So basically, instead of trying to, the entry into the Toplock armbar is a bit of like it's almost like a flower sweep or pendulum sweep. There's some big differences though. Pendulum sweep, you swing that leg low. In this case, I swing it high. So I want to put his weight forward off base, but not lose that arm. All right. right? So if he starts to block, I basically scrape it off with the knee. So that clears it. And now you can go into the top lock entries. All right.
And we have Jake Taylor. He's asking, do you think the reverse triangle is a good follow-up from the armbar?
Oh, absolutely. That is one of my favorite combinations. That is one of my favorite. So that's again to just reinforce that when you scrape away that arm, sometimes you scrape it a little too far, and when you scrape it too far, you go into a reverse triangle. So again. So even, I don't care where he, I'll usually just get his hands off my torso as I'm pivoting. Now I'm starting to scrape it. Enrique senses danger, pulls out that arm, and now we have reverse triangle with all the finishing touches. That's one of my favorite combinations. Not just one of my favorite, but one of my most effective combinations against high-level guys. Believe it or not, this works like a charm, because as you're threatening the arm, the person recognizes fairly quickly that that arm is in danger. Their number one priority is yanking out the arm, but they really don't feel the danger of the reverse triangle because their body positioning is opposite of what a regular triangle is. So they feel secure that you're not going to be able to hit a triangle, except they didn't count on a reverse triangle.
And we have a question from James Trotta. He's asking, I'm having a problem breaking my opponent's grips while attempting an armbar from top position. Can you show the easiest way to separate his hands, whether it's S grip or holding his collar?
Top of side control or mount?
Regular armbar, like sitting on it, like from this position.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. So usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually spin around to the far side because I don't like to enter arm bars like this. In real life, we never enter like this, right? In real life, I'm going to enter like this. And Enrique made a decision to defend by holding on rather than spinning out. When that happens, the first thing, and again, guys, this is fairly heavily covered on my armbar DVD. First, I reinforce his position. So I want to make sure, okay, this is how you decided to defend. I'm going to make sure you stay here. I'm going to bring the leg over, and I'm going to cross my ankles. So now, basically, I'm preventing him from pulling out either side. So he can't pull his arm down on his left side or his right side. All right? Now, one of the best ways, and then this is also a very important point when you're armbarring from your guard. People have a lot of power when they're able to lock up kind of their elbows wide. When their elbows go narrow, this is when the power starts to go out the window. So first thing is, I will not regrip. One of the biggest problems is people start to like regrip, and this is when things go out the window. So I started with my left hand under his arm. All right. So first thing, I will not regrip. I will evaluate. Okay, where's the weakness here? So the weakness is there's a cow. Yeah. Just so you know, there's a cow hand on this side. So if I push it into my chest, there's a cow hand, which a lot of times, if I do that, I usually wait, want them to disengage and give me the arm. I don't want the cow hand. I don't want the wrist lock. Now, I want to go closer to the wrist on his right arm, but right now I'm in a control position. I'm not thinking about finish yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push with my chest and I'm going to pull this. So anytime somebody's elbows start to, I don't care how strong the guy is, when their elbows start to get close to each other, okay, it's almost impossible to stop, okay? I do this from mounted as well, so a lot of times, let me just do the whole setup. This will illustrate the point a little bit better. So when I'm mounted, I will, if I got somebody like this, if this is MMA, he's gonna eat an elbow. Are you hungry for an elbow?
Already had breakfast.
You already had breakfast?
Yes.
So, but in grappling, he can hold out like this. So when that happens, I'm gonna threaten an Ezekiel. The hands start to come up. So as I'm gonna slide up, and I don't really care about his arms. You could see that I'm positioning everything. My legs trap his arms. I'm not grabbing people who are holding on to, no. It'll be there. He's got no place to go. So watch, go ahead, lock up real nice and tight. Yeah. Watch how, when I bring his shoulders and his elbows together, how it's almost impossible to hold on. Okay? You can do that same thing. Why are you laughing, Mike?
Just hearing Enrique's breathing.
Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
Elbows together.
Yeah. So anytime you're armbarring people, they're strong like this. When you start to bring their shoulders and elbows together, it doesn't matter. So people are when they're armbarring somebody, they're too focused on holding onto the hand with both arms. I don't really care. A lot of times I don't hold their arm. It's either going to be one arm or no arm because I know that my legs trap his arms and I'm going to use my legs and body positioning to get his elbows and shoulders close from here to here, and now there is no power to start harvesting arms. It's always arm season. All right? So I hope that answers your question.
He said exactly what I was asking. I'm going to purchase your DVD. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, if you do buy the DVDs, I really appreciate it. Reviews. The Armbar one has like 44 reviews, so that's really good. The newer ones, not as many as because they just came out more recently. But again, if you have any questions, this is the best format to ask because you can get your question answered quickly and very specifically to what your issue might be.
And Jake is asking, if the opponent pulls out the arm, you're not attacking from S-mount, will you 3/4 juji? I'm not sure.
He is not going to pull out his arm. I think...
He says both legs over the face and armbar.
Yeah, with the feet over.
Yeah.
Full like game week.
So I got to threaten on this side so you guys can see. It is not happening. His arm will be broken before he pulls it out. It's good. This is a very, very, very hard armbar. Guys, I'm a big advocate. If you mount it, finish the armbar mounted. Don't get off. There is no reason to get off. Look at Enrique's face. I will put you out of your misery.
Do it.
So go ahead, pull it out. All right. If he pulled it out, I would probably switch into a reverse triangle. And again, in this case, I know with certainty that I'm going to be able to lock it up and finish very easily. So again, if he pulls out his arm from an armbar, it's not easy to hit a straight triangle, the regular triangle. The problem with that is because everybody knows, and you have to shift your body to the opposite, like in an opposite direction. And that's not easy because obviously he's highly motivated to bust out as soon as there's an opening. But almost always when he pulls out that arm, you have an opportunity for a reverse triangle. I'm a big fan. Are we out of time already?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Flies by.
Did we go into warp time?
Possibly. That probably explains Enrique's breathing.
All right, guys, real quick. I'm starting to get on the road. Things are opening up. I've done a bunch of seminars here in the U.S. In Europe, they're opening up as well. So at the end of August, I'm doing 2 camps in Czech Republic, end of August. I think 25th and 26th of August. No. Yes, 25th, 5 and 26, and 27, 28, 29. So 2 separate camps. One of them is sold out. Then 2 weeks later, I'm going back to Germany, southern Germany, Black Forest, September 10 to 12th. And then I'm going to Holland, October 1 through 3. So if you have an interest in any of the camps, just let me know. They're a lot of fun. Actually, this is my favorite way to spread jiu-jitsu, because we get a chance to not just play jiu-jitsu, but also to bond and spend some time together and see some sights and play some jiu-jitsu. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Guys, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Try not to follow Fox when he travels.
I have eyes in the back of my head.